Thanks again for joining us. We hope you guys got to check out last week's stream. If you haven't, go see our interview with Professor Miguel Benitez from Montgomery BJJ, another DeBlas affiliate. But really cool conversation. He's going to be reffing at ADCC this weekend, which we're pretty stoked to be able to go see live. So, yeah, go listen to that. Check it out. Give his school a follow on Instagram. I think it's just at Montgomery BJJ. All that good stuff.
Yeah,
Anyway,
thanks again, Miguel, for doing that. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, that was a great conversation. And really cool that he stuck around for all the, what's up, James? He stuck around to critique everything and
Yeah,
give you guys some feedback on your stuff. So really appreciate it.
to work on for sure. Yeah.
All right, cool. We've got Monday's footage to get into. So let's do it. Danny and Duncan starting us off. Both of them playing with that collar tie with the lead leg, which I was talking about the other day. I think that class actually mentioned that.
What was that?
I said both Danny and Duncan were collar tying with that lead leg side arm,
Right.
which I was talking about at class. But yeah, James, I agree. His podcast is a really good listen. I like his co-host Roy too. He's it's nice to listen and play off each other and build the whole episode. Bullshit for a half hour and then get into something a bit more jiu-jitsu relevant.
That's awesome.
His I mean, they both have good voices for podcasting, but I think Roy is a musician. I don't know if he sings or not, but he actually I think he said he does sing, but definitely has a good like broadcast voice. Let's see, I missed how Duncan and Danny got to the ground. I think did Duncan just? Oh, okay. Danny countered the single. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
We got Cole and Caleb front and center.
And Austin shot on me too. That was good. I like at least seeing the attempt. He was trying to cut the angle.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little compromise there. Like I think you're getting pretty heavy over him, and it was just kind of one of those like last ditch. All right, let me take a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was working to snap him down. He was feeling the pressure, and I think he dropped down to see if he can catch a leg. He didn't give up on it. He kept trying to turn. I was doing my best to try and hug the hips and make sure he wasn't going to do so, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see some of you guys break the habit of just the last minute, oh shit, single leg takedown. What's up, Joe? It's not.
Okay.
I mean, there are plenty of examples of us doing it, myself included, where it just yeah, it just doesn't work. You just get sprawled on. Like you've got to remember that you can back out. You can disengage. Obviously, if you're running the whole fight, that's a different thing. But you can disengage, get your posture back. You don't need to like as soon as your head starts going towards the mat, you don't need to just go in on a shot. They're completely expecting it.
Definitely not the end all be all. It's something that you have to learn. I think it comes with the more that you shoot in and kind of get stuffed, you learn it. But yeah, you're 100% right. It's a tough habit to break.
It is. Nobody likes to back away.
No.
Most people at least nobody at the school.
So can we take a look at how Duncan was getting around half guard?
Yeah.
So he's in the closed guard.
I think Danny opens his guard here, maybe. Okay, elbow in. Danny opens.
And then, okay, so Duncan hops over and advances his knee past the hip. Like he basically clears the knee line of Danny, right? So his right knee, I'd like to see it closer to the hip, but it's above the knee. And then he makes an okay connection. He's not chest to chest until there, right? but he does have a good pressure, a decent pressure on the top side of the body to where he starts his knee cut and then gets chest to chest. I I mean, a pass is a pass, and that was good. I would prefer to see somebody, starting to get chest to chest before they start the knee cut. Um, Personally, um, I don't know how do you feel about that?
No, I agree. He's in he's in a unique position here in that his head is on the outside, so he's not fighting for the top underhook here. He's actually got closer to like a katagatame position, right? If Danny had, I think Danny's like like not overreaching in the sense that he's going too far, but like he is like here's where that underhook battle would happen, and that's where you would typically close in on chest to chest. But now with Danny switching, pummeling far to this side, really giving up his back, or at least exposing his back. Duncan now doesn't. Yeah, Duncan doesn't have that underhook battle to fight with his head on the inside. His head's on the outside now. Not. I guess it's not. It isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just how you're going to adapt to the situation. Passing from here, I think Danny's going to, by default, have the inside position with his arms framing. But it looks like Duncan's making good use of some shoulder pressure as he does get around. I think Danny probably feels like his right arm here isn't of much use to him in this position, so he pulls it back to get a good shoulder frame in. And then that's where Duncan can try to settle in to a more traditional side control. But yeah, there was a little unorthodox passing situation, I think, because he was denied the underhook, but Danny didn't have it either. He just exposed his back. And then now he's
in there.
right where Danny wants him. Oh, Danny working his well-known combo at this point of the reverse triangle and the toe hold dilemma. A tough one to deal with, just because you can't see your feet, but you really don't need to. After Danny's put you in this enough times, Duncan, you're going to start to feel that this free leg is going to be the solution, right? Bring it back to your foot that's in trouble and try to break Danny's grips. All the while, you're going to be fighting for, getting your head free and whatever. A lot of times it comes down to just like attrition. Danny will realize he can't set up the foot, the ankle, the foot lock, the toe hold, and he's not doing anything with the reverse triangle, and he'll try to transition from there, or you'll just get caught. It's happened to me plenty of times. Caleb, let's see what Caleb's up to. Looks like he was taking a page out of my book against him these past 2 weeks, working some knee on belly with Cole. A little off screen here. So Caleb went in the underhook, working to
It's a side body lock.
Yeah. With an underhook, it looks like he retained the underhook. I thought he did. Never mind.
I think he was working to crawl up the body there with his right arm is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chilling in north-south right now. I'm curious to see if he'll go for that choke that we were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Cole doing a good job preventing that, though, by getting his shoulders off the mat. This like front headlock position, it's kind of like, I think they call it like a chin whip or something in wrestling, and it's like illegal in a lot of jiu-jitsu. Not what Cole's doing right now, but like quick motions of their head with that grip. But I think it can be very useful as like an anchor point. Like watch how Cole uses it here to control as he gets all the way up, right? Like he's in a pretty unathletic position here. He sets up his grip kind of sort of flat on his back, and now he's got to use his legs to get himself out from underneath Caleb. And the whole time he could kind of make it difficult for Caleb to posture up, to adjust. He gets himself out from underneath Caleb's chest to chest pressure and can retake top position, or at least top turtle.
Yeah, I mean, in that spot, you've got two frames with the same arm, right? You've got your forearm framing the left shoulder of Caleb, and then your shoulder framing the right shoulder of Caleb, and then from here he can get an inside bicep tie and clear his head.
Yeah,
and he's safe. Brandon on top here got out of a guillotine threat after he hit a double leg on other Brandon.
okay.
They're both in
I
the
missed
back.
that.
And they're both named Brandon.
Yeah, bald Brandon.
Boom. So this is a dangerous game, Brandon, that you're playing here. I know you know that because you immediately, your hands came up and started to address this. What I'd like to see you doing is trying to get to your right, bottom Brandon's left. So hopping over the legs and trying to get onto circling your right legs around to the right hand side, which it looks like you're high stepping or attempting it now. But you're out of the guillotine threat. But basically, whatever side your head is on, your legs and hips need to be on the opposite side of the body.
I guess, well, before we get too far away from it, while we're thinking about it for bottom Brandon here, this is, in order to finish this, there are a lot of schools of thought on the finishing mechanics of guillotines, but where you are in general, I think some good universal advice. You're going to want to get your elbow of your strangle arm down towards the same side hip, right? You kind of want to hit this side crunch. I think we talked about yesterday in that arm triangle, or the head and arm strangle katagatame. I was mentioning to you that rotational finish that we put on it, like driving the elbow down into the shoulder. The guillotine has its own form of a rotational finish, and it comes in that side crunch that you do. It's hard to see what kind of grip you're using on your left side right now. That's also obviously very important, and there are more than one ways to finish the grip. I can't say I have I guess I have a go-to, just like the blade grip on the hand, but in any case, I don't see you crunching down to the side, and that's really going to be the first thing I'd like to see you tighten up there.
Then he hit a sweep, and then he got re-rolled there. But
Yeah, it's a little like cow catcher.
So it's almost like an arm. Yeah, okay. I got you.
Yeah. Duncan staying vigilant.
Yeah.
Skip ahead. Nice mount, Brandon. Trying to control the legs as he took the high step over.
Dude, his mount is getting very good, very effective.
Yeah, I think once he learns to utilize his legs a bit more regularly to shut down like bridging and some of the stuff we talked about that day, actually, it's gonna be a pretty miserable day for anybody who gets mounted by him.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just to kind of further to the point what we talked about with the doubles, just another reason why you can't stay right in front of your opponent, right? In fact, you don't even really see Brandon drive here as he changes levels. He doesn't even have a chance to get up from his heels to his butt before Cole's sprawling on him and driving forward against the direction that Brandon would want to be moving in.
Right.
He's also staying right in front, not getting his hips around, which it's going to be essential for getting those finishes.
I think it's kind of interesting. So I think I'm about to do this to Brandon. So keep an eye on that. And I'm doing the exact same setup that that Brandon just tried with Cole. So I'm sitting really heavy on him, and then immediately I know that you can feel when your opponent's like, obviously trying to get his posture back. So I know that Brandon's trying to get his head up, and so I just time it, and I shove my head straight into the middle, grab the back of the legs, and take him through for a blast.
Yep.
Type of a double, right? Boom.
Yeah, one of the most simple setups, which I love. Like it just makes use of the push pull dynamic. If you want them to stand up, shove their head down. And is this Duncan and Rush here in front? It looks like it.
Man, when Cole, when Cole sprawls on you, Brandon, I definitely empathize with you on that one.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't feel good.
because you're not gonna get his leg back, right? You purely have to work on angle. If he manages to sprawl on you, you can't pull his leg back in. And then I know we went over some mount escapes from here, so see, and here's the thing. We went over mount escapes. You're going against Cole, who's currently working on his some of his mount tactics. He's trying to work double unders a lot right now, or at least that's what I've been trying to get him to do. Well-timed bridge. That was fantastic. I was gonna say you're gonna have, something to contend with in working those bridging or in working your mount escapes. But it looks like Cole dug for an underhook on the left side here. And you didn't let him get too far up. You managed to keep your left elbow, below your shoulder line, which allowed you to hit this really, really nice upa. You didn't even have the underhook either with the right arm. Like you had it kind of like you're cross facing him here, which is fine. Obviously it worked.
But check out the left leg, not the drive leg, but the stapled leg. Like I don't know how many times I went around that day, and I'm like belaboring the point that that foot is probably the second most critical piece of the puzzle here, because you can drive all you want to, but if you can't prevent them from basing out with that leg, you're not going to hit an upa, right? And he goes foot to foot with him and takes him right over. Cole didn't have a chance to base out.
Yeah, that
was perfect. Well done.
Now you got to contend with double unders from a closed guard, which is a tough spot.
Yeah,
Cole's doing a good job here of getting your elbows up above your shoulder line. See if he pummels into butterfly, tries to hit either a slide by to take the back or just sweep you.
Yeah.
Great exchange from both of you.
Yeah, very nice.
And I assume there was maybe a straight arm attack on there. You pinned your right arm and then a little smothering maybe, because we saw Cole's left arm here, so wasn't attacking Brandon's left arm. Let's go back to Rush and Duncan. Duncan was putting some pressure on him. Let's see how Rush got up from this.
This is the first night I got to roll with Rush, and this is kind of par for what I saw in my role with him. Is these wrestle ups very nice?
Yeah. Solid.
He built up his hip height, head height, and came right around. Right. I mean,
stayed really tight to Duncan too.
He did, even with a lower underhook. His ear stayed very close to Duncan's chest, kind of reduced the effectivity of the whizzer. I do think that Duncan could have potentially put on a little bit more pressure with the whizzer, but I want to see Duncan's leg position. For an effective whizzer, you really need to be able to base out or get your hips away so that you can lay down some pressure on that shoulder.
Yeah, I'm curious what Duncan's intention was here, because it doesn't look like Rush shucked him up that high. Like Rush didn't bump him, really.
Right.
Duncan kind of lurched up without the underhook, right? And I think Rush was ready for it and wanting that, and it just it looks like Duncan kind of gave it to him. And then now, you know, prime example of why you try not to advance without the underhook in most cases from top half guard. Duncan did a decent backup plan here and trying to sink in a whizzer. Just remember though, guys, like a whizzer isn't wrapping somebody's arm with an overhook. It's the downward shoulder pressure that comes with it. That's what makes it a whizzer. So here you could see Rush is getting his posture back, getting head height, winning, like you were saying, Mike, winning the hip height battle, winning the head height battle. It's because there wasn't enough downward pressure on that whizzer to really prevent it. And then now that's what allows Rush to take top position.
And Duncan, if you're watching or wondering how to put more pressure on with the whizzer, it's by getting your hips away from Rush. So when he comes up and you lay the whizzer on right here, your legs kind of still stay pretty stationary, right? And then as he drives, your left knee stays put. You need to get your hips and your knees away. Think of it as like a side-on sprawl. Is kind of how I envision it a little bit, using your weight to throw it out to the side, so that way you can drive down with your shoulder, and that would be a much more effective whizzer.
Yeah, and Rush is giving you the opportunity to do that here, because one thing he could tighten up on this this transition. He did it well, but if you look here, his outside leg right now, his left leg, doesn't come over inside your leg here. Right here. He's pulled your base open, but he hasn't gone he hasn't put the left leg in early enough between your two legs to where you could theoretically sprawl from here, you know, like you're saying, out to the side. Yeah, there isn't much. I'd like to see Rush tighten up that leg control with that outside leg coming over. But either way, good exchange. Did we already see this? Yeah, I think this is where. Did Brandon and Cole just start working from here again?
No.
Okay.
You just.
Okay.
You
I did go far enough back. All right.
Rewind it.
That's all right. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna clip it out actually.
Nice. Don't leave it in.
Pat laying some heavy face pressure on Caleb there. So Rush is really trying to work this armbar variation from S mount. He and Danny were talking about this. I think it was Danny. I think Danny partnered up with him when we were going over S mount in the class after looking at double unders in advance. So Duncan's doing a really good job, or a good enough job, of trying to prevent it by getting his elbows down. Rush is contending with Duncan's elbow line, essentially. The line connecting Duncan's elbows is below his shoulder line here. It's hard to tell from this angle. But that's giving him some pressure down his body, pushing into Rush's hips, which makes it a little bit more difficult. You see Rush is having some trouble setting up his S mount here. The makings of a good tight S mount is the distance between the heel and the knee, right? So if Rush could either cut across, so like if Rush could turn the angle around Duncan's right arm here, he might be able to tighten it up, but you could see Duncan's elbows in the way. Alternatively, if he was more straight up and down the body, if he could get his leg, closer to behind the head, closer towards his knee, again, you'd have a much tighter S mount and much more vulnerable arms. I think he may have been able to pull this off if he had a bit more time. Yeah. Fun finish. Oh, you got you and Rush. Cool.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'd ever trained with him. So I'm feeling out the half guard here. his knee shield, he's playing a butterfly half with me, which isn't uncommon for our school.
So I just stop my ankle from getting broken all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it definitely leaves legs out. I was not intending on shooting in for legs. I really wanted to see if I could pass. That was really my intention here. I always like putting my passing up to the test to a good half guard.
Yeah, Rush is a really good partner to train that stuff with. Yeah, I mean, I was nothing but complimentary of him after our roll yesterday, just because he gives me so much trouble from top position. Like, his top pressure is insane. That it's making me have to like really hone up my my escapes, especially from side control, and then throw a gi on him, and it's like he's very well versed in like gripping and everything, so he's got really good guard retention, right, preventing you from passing. Looks like he's in a little trouble here.
He wrestled up on me, and I accepted the bottom position. I didn't think that I was going to be able to wrestle him back down. I lay on the Kimura trap here. He didn't have my hips blocked, but he was like threatening to like grab my ankles and stuff. So I was kind of waiting and baiting to see what he was planning on doing with that.
You may have been able to trap his arm there, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just come around right there. Might have been.
Right
well,
there.
Yeah. Once he lets go of it.
My foot. Yep.
Yeah.
He grabbed my foot, and then he made it difficult for me to try and get the bottom hook in, and then he puts me back in half guard. So I never scored a point here. I guess I scored the sweep, right? So we're like 2-2, if you will, because he got the wrestle up, and then I would have gotten the that sweep.
He was pretty keen on trying to break my ankles from me being on his back. You'll see later.
Okay.
Just because I was, he caught me crossing my ankles, which can't even say he caught me. I don't really care too much anymore, just because I feel safe about it. But he's all that to say, he's very aware when he's in that position. Not letting you get the mount easily either.
Yeah, so here when I stood up with him, I felt like that was very tight. Like as soon as I snatched that grip, that was pretty well in. So I flip him over. Right there, I felt a tap on my leg. I thought, I was like, and he was like, yeah. And so he was like, there's no way I was going to get out of that one. So I was like, okay, cool.
Just want to look at Cole real quick. Down here by you. So passing from top half guard or top 3/4 mount. Let's see how much he's trying to dig on stuff. Nice, Jason. Ah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speed the footage up a little bit. So even though Jason's having a little trouble getting caught in mount right now, at least for a second there, I like what I was seeing as far as his hand placement, right? It's so easy to panic when you're in mount and not pay attention to where your hands go, not make effective use of your frames. And he was setting up nicely on the hips, trying to get Cole's hips under control, preventing them from advancing.
What's up, Deathcore?
Thanks for the subscription, my dude.
Thank you.
See if Brandon and Caleb get a takedown in the last 30 seconds here. How you been, Deathcore? Brandon really likes that low single. Yeah. Oh no!
That was good. I like that low single.
Yeah. Damn, that sucks. You got turned on. And then, oh yeah, shout out to Andrew, Joe's buddy, up here training. He's training with Cole right now. Mm-hmm. This was his first class. And Cole definitely showed him how to lay some heavy pressure on from the top. I rolled around with him first, just to kind of give him a feel for how these things go. And then reconvened later in the evening and was like, oh yeah, you definitely rolled with Cole.
Okay. Who's Danny rolling with? Is that?
That is Brandon.
Brandon. Okay.
Excellent, man. Best of luck. I hope it goes well for you.
Yeah. Good luck.
Oh, so Caleb and Brandon are just going for another round then. Okay. Let's see.
Me and Pat are behind the pillar. Got.
That's where all the good stuff happens.
What's up?
So that's where all the good stuff happens.
I know.
So I'm just seeing what happened. We'll just keep going.
I didn't know we had an open spot right here. I would have asked Pat to go out here into the abyss. Okay, so we got Austin and Duncan up there at the top, right under the screen.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. I wanted to see if Austin was going to set up a triangle from there. Right now, Duncan's got his posture broken down. It's not under his control. And he may feel safe, like, isolating an arm here, like he's doing on Austin. Problem is, he can't prevent that. Like, he's isolating his own arm in order to isolate Austin's arm, and that makes for an easy transition up to this trap triangle position.
I really like the grip that Austin's using on that far arm too. Gordon talks a lot about it for triangles, which is kind of like, normally we trap with, I'll say, the four knuckles up top, right, and thumb on bottom. Mm-hmm. And Gordon prefers to go four knuckles under and then the thumb on top for the triangle variation grip. He has a reason for that. I just know that I've been trying that out a lot more lately, and it seems to be very effective.
Yeah.
I don't understand the science or physiology behind it, but whatever works.
Let's play with that. Good job on Duncan, though, for getting out of there.
Yeah.
We have a guest black belt coming in tomorrow to give a class for the troops. I guess he has a local gym in the area. That's awesome.
Yeah. Learn as much as you can, man.
Yeah.
it's always good to hear from high level practitioners and like especially people with different styles and games.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
awesome.
Hopefully he's around your size and you could really get the most out of it.
Yeah.
That's like the hardest thing for me is if I ever come across a black belt who's anywhere around my size, I'm like, oh my god, we have to roll, please kick my ass.
Yeah. Yeah, like when we went up to leverage,
Yeah, with Rob.
Rob.
I was like, there are people our size who have black belts. This is great. And then he just like guillotined me in 10 seconds.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I really want to get back up there. It's the best thing about Ohio. It's leverage BJJ.
That's it. I'm the Blast affiliate. In some friggin' place that has killer sandwiches that I can't remember the name of, but Cole can.
Yeah. That was that the place out in the middle of nowhere
Yeah.
that we stopped
in
at?
the
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So let's see this exchange that I had with Rush here. So he pulls to half guard. Notice I'm just taking my time getting my posture back under control. He did a great job there getting me off balance. I don't think I didn't jump forward voluntarily. He was still maintaining a lot of control over me. And this was just another example of kind of refusing to be put into the bottom position. Just because I'm on my butt here and he's starting to get hip height doesn't mean I'm going to fall to my back and just let him work. I had that front headlock position, so I can use that to prevent some of his forward progress, push against him to get myself back up, and then cut the angle. Start working my back take from here. You can see I lead in with my knee, which we talk about going in with the knee from turtle position. Watch me right there. I'm going to start driving in my right knee. There's the frames. There we go. The knee leads in. It's not on a good angle right now, but I'm trying to push it back in. That's better. In towards his hips. Putting some pressure on the back of his head with, I don't think it was a really great power half, but it was the best I could get in the moment.
But you also have your left leg that's doing work here too, right? Can you go back to that? That's something that people forget as well. Right.
Oh,
here.
where I'm hooking in.
Yeah. So Matt's actually back heeling with his left leg here. He's trying to get like at the crook of the ankle, right? At the bottom of the foot, and then pulling that backward, putting torque on the leg, in order to pop him over.
Yeah, and it's really important in giving you your first hook, which should be in this case your bottom hook. You can tell he's gonna have a hard time pulling that knee up to his chest as we go over, and that gives me the time that I need to sink in my first hook, the bottom hook. He's doing a really great job here, connecting his knee to his elbow, making it difficult for me to get the second hook in. So I go to this high ball ride position where I'm just crossing my ankles. I don't have the back yet. I had to adjust and get behind him. He started slipping the angle. So I went back up, put up a power half, pried him back down again. Still not quite there. Now I got my both my hooks in. And this is where, he caught me crossing my ankles. I've talked about this anytime anybody's asked, whenever it comes up in class. It's going to be difficult to see from this angle. But crossing your ankles when you're on someone's back, generally not a great idea, especially as an early belt. Reason being, most times your legs are hanging out down between the knees and the mid thigh. That's where those cheap little straight ankle locks come in. The closer I bring my crossed ankles to the hips, the less I care about that. Not that it still can't happen, and I have ways to just totally bail when it does, but it's going to be less or it's going to be more difficult for people to get, less effective. He's got to swing his leg all the way up. I can uncross my ankles anytime without giving up hooks. So it's not, I don't rely on crossed ankles in that position, but when when it happens, when I can't get a good body triangle and my ankles are closer together, I'm not terribly concerned with it. And then I still spend my time focusing on getting the leg trap on the arm here. Now, some of our more astute students would notice my head position is awful. I have my head directly behind him, and my strangle arm on top. I need to get my head underneath on the opposite side of his head relative to the strangle arm. So it's a big reason I'm not really too effective here, but I'm doing a lot of switching back and forth. In fact, we'll slow it down a little bit, because this isn't quite as easy as I'd like it to be. So I had to employ some different tactics. So right now I don't have an underhook, right? I have no control arm. So, but I have one of his arms trapped. The only real control I have from him rotating away from me is let's back it up a second, my right arm over his shoulder right now, right here. Not something I want to rely on. So I have to start getting in the threat of the strangle. So here I've chosen my top arm, then switching back. I still need to get my head on a good side. And he's still going for my legs. More power to him. It's hard to see. I sank the strangle in here. I wish you could see my grips a little bit better, but yeah. In any case, not as clean of a straitjacket approach as I typically like to do, but that's the result of Rush doing some good hand fighting. What have Austin and Caleb been up to besides Austin getting his disgusting sunburnt skin all over the mat?
Still coughing that shit up,
dude. He was like a leper, man.
Put him on an island.
Give him a bell and a sign that says unclean. All right, so he gets. Looks like Caleb was. I assume Caleb was trying to sit back for the triangle escape with the crossed legs over the chest. And Austin just took advantage.
So I just hit that S-mount armbar on Danny, I think in the left corner. It's behind the chat, I think. Yeah.
Let me hide the chat real quick. Go back a little further.
Yeah, so I wound up, I think, reversing him from north-south, came up, took him out, and then I'm in at a very high mount, and I really wanted to go for a triangle, but he was putting his arms in front of me, so I went ahead and just did the S mount. And so, what I'm doing here is I'm really sitting heavy. I'm driving my hips behind his shoulder tricep. You can actually see that Danny's, almost starting to face to the right when I do this. So as I start stepping up, you'll see his right shoulder actually come up off the mat. That's because I'm dragging him over that way. Here, he starts to turn, and I just grab the arm, and I'm stepped over straight up for. It's a very tight arm bar once I get it.
That's so miserable.
Yeah.
God, that sucks. Austin just about getting to the rear triangle. Just want to see where Rush and I made this exchange and how he did it. So he's working. So he does such a great job of getting me off balance. with my pass attempts.
Yeah, he did that twice, 3 times to me during our rolls.
And I feel like he could turn that into some really solid leg entries too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I was trying to do to him there, getting into cross ashi.
Mm-hmm. He's sitting awfully heavy on that side, and he probably is cross facing you with his left arm, I would assume.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So I couldn't invert. I couldn't pull my knees close enough to like elevate his hips. So pretty standard shutdown on that. Austin trying to dig in on this Kimura. It's nice to see like the biggest guy in the room and the lightest guy in the room having some competitive roles.
Yeah.
And I think Rush and I just decided to keep it going. He's like, oh man, I was getting to a good spot. Let's do another 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, Andrew's working with Cole there. And it looks like Cole's exactly showing him how to put some shoulder pressure on somebody's jaw. It's really...
Caleb.
What was that?
I said it was a nice pass from Caleb. He turned that snap down into a pass.
Let's see what he did here.
He comes around, he's trying to hit a go behind, but then Duncan goes to basically regard, right? Duncan, you really need to focus on your bottom leg, not your top leg. There are always caveats, but your bottom leg is what's going to give you your guard back. So how I see your right leg, at least from this angle, it appears to be that your right leg is being a bit lazy and the laggard here, and your left leg is the one that's kind of like in the lat of Caleb. I want it to be like how you have it now, to where your right leg is the one that's adamantly trying to get into in front of Caleb.
Yeah, and remember, I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past. You want your foot to be above your knee, right? So your foot needs to elevate. You need to open up the angle between your shin and your thigh, and that's what drives down underneath the hip. You're just gonna keep kneeing Caleb in the hip, which I don't care. It's not my hip. Bruise it up, but you're not gonna get your guard back when you do that. Once you can get your foot above your knee and you have the ability to shrimp your butt away, that leads into that knee to elbow connection that you need to reestablish here. Caleb might make it additionally a little more difficult here, just with this post outside your hip. Nothing a good strong shrimping motion probably couldn't get out of the way. But yeah, that position of your foot relative to your knee is not going to do you any favors. I think most of this round I spent just trying to retain guard against Rush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he doesn't have a stop button. Like he just keeps going.
No.
It's awesome.
So yeah, we spent what seemed like a long time here where he had a side body lock on me, but I had a lot of downward pressure on his head, which was preventing him from coming up and like pinning me, because if he just brought his hips up to the same side. We talked about it all through side control week. if your hips and your head are on the same side, you don't have side control. You're not pinning them effectively. So really, he would either want to jump his legs over to the other side, to my left side, or he'd have to pummel his head out and over my chest, which I'm going to make it very difficult for him to do here. And with my legs being as close to him as they are, jumping over isn't going to be easy. Pummeling his head out isn't going to be easy. My arm was also getting kind of tired, though, just driving backwards. So I was like, all right, we're stalemated.
Yeah, I think Rush, if there was one thing that I don't know if you watch this or not, but one piece of advice I would give to Rush is when you're in that side body lock and your head is on the wrong side here, you can walk your body towards where Matt's knees are pointing. And what that does is that relieves the pressure that Matt can put on your head and gives you the ability to snake your head out. Mm-hmm. So like what I would do is I would have a very strong tight waist, if not a body lock, with my right arm here. I'd start walking my butt and knees along the back, like to get the knees pointed away, slip my head out, and then come across the body. I think that would give you a better angle. Now, Matt would also have the option to turtle here, which would either have you fighting from turtle, or if you see that as an opportunity to take the back, right, with back exposure. So that's kind of where I would take this, I think. And I don't know, how would you attack from this position?
I was thinking, like, it just, when I paused it, the back exposure here is the most prominent thing to me. So I think with my style, I probably would have gotten away from the body lock grip here and taken my left hand up over the far shoulder, right? Your opponent's left shoulder, and set up try to set up a seatbelt grip, and then scoot my knee up behind them and start working on taking the back. Problem with that is you have no hook here with your legs. So yeah. If you're going to do that, you really, really need to commit to the upper body grips to where you can maneuver yourself around them to set up opportunities to get your hooks in or your body triangle. But you better make damn sure you have a strong connection to the upper body, since you have zero connection to the lower body. I would say it's best exemplified by when somebody, when you're on somebody's back, you have a seatbelt grip, they get their hips out of both of your legs, they start walking away from you. It's that same kind of connection where you can drive into them, get behind them again. You haven't unlocked your arms or anything, and you can reestablish your lower body connection.
He does a good job there of establishing the pass. So it worked out for him in the end.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's been training, but no, he said he's been training a few years. Body positioning was very good.
Yeah.
I love the use of leg pummeling here, how he's trying to pummel to get your legs or your hands pinned. Didn't work out for him. It played in your favor, but
yeah, this is another position where I'm fairly comfortable. Like most people think like I feel like people would look at this and think I'm putting myself into like a rear crucifix position. The reason I felt comfortable enough doing this now is because he didn't have the far side underhook. Yep. My arm was pinned to my chest. It may have been ineffective as a frame, but it definitely wasn't in danger of being isolated. So I can use my right hand in this case to start reaching underneath to open legs up with the intention of what you'll see in a second, turning towards him and capturing his ankle with my top leg.
I think the fact that you have your left hand in and against the lat right now makes that crucifix position not even a thing, right? Like,
yeah, I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah.
This is an example of me seeing something on Instagram probably and thinking, oh, I should try that. I saw Khabib do this in like a wrestling match, or no, I think it was just a no-gi grappling thing where he like, I think that's how he did it. Is he got the guy's leg like this and hit a nice strong bridge, and it was awesome. And I was like, oh, I've never done that. It's because it just doesn't work when I do it. For a second I thought about capturing his shin against his quad. Like, you know how hard it is to extend your leg from here. I was like, oh, maybe I can bridge into him, you know, in this direction. And since he doesn't have a leg to kickstand on, I might be able to take him that way. And I was like, yeah, that's not working. Let me do what I know how to do. So you see, I isolate his leg. I come over at the calf. I would have liked to gotten further down the ankle, but, you know, take what I can get. And then just wrestle my way up. Establish top position. Work to double unders, like we had spoken about in class. Get right up into S mount. I can't remember if I finished here or not. Time's running out, but yeah, and then got the armbar. So really quick turnaround there. All just from isolating that leg. This is honestly more, I mean, the S mount stuff is great, but like you're dealing with a lot more pressure here trying to come out from underneath somebody. So capture that leg with your two legs, pull it by. I've got a nice lever on his leg right now. I get my hips up, I drive, and you know the rest.
That was a nice armbar. Yeah.
I think the only reason Austin didn't get that on me, like I like everything he did here. How he captured my leg with his back leg, like that little step over he did, right here, right there, where he like kind of hooks my leg in. I think if he could have planted this foot and driven into me and gotten up, he may have been able to do something with this.
Right. You had his arm. I mean,
yeah,
that would have been tough.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, like the amount of pressure I put into him just to kind of immobilize him helped me out. And then I was like, I'm not going to let you stand up. We have a really nice leg exchange here in this round, though. Is that you and Pat?
That's
I
such
think.
a good job of like getting all twisted up and shit.
Who?
Yeah, Austin.
Yeah.
Look at me. His hips are pointing over there, like, and his head is looking out like back towards you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a contortionist.
You're a damn owl.
Whether he likes it or not. I see him holding out pretty long on some joint locks, and I'm just like, I just want to tap for him.
No kidding. I'm training with. I've got Pat. I think this is Pat round 2.
Yeah.
We did stand up on this one. Pat's really heavy on the head. He's like always game for these outside trips.
Yes.
And you'll see a lot of them getting thrown my way.
I love it, man. He plays that game so much, and obviously I'm biased. But it works really well for him. Like that was nice right there. That little like
it was
step he tried to hit.
Like I had to get my base, and when I did that, my head dropped, and he saw it and snatched my head right up. So there he's smelling blood in the water, because he's like, that's the third trip that he's gone for in a row.
Yeah, I think as he gets those transitioning really fluidly between like trips to either tripping on the other side or like, you know, a Sotogaris or even throws, man. I could absolutely see Pat just like,
dude, he would
stepping in on a Nuchimata or something, you know?
just like this. That's what I hit with. Yeah, that's what I did with him.
Let's see that again. Yeah.
I think I finish it somehow. Oh, yeah, no, I didn't finish it. I just fell back into cross-ashi. So I noticed that since I'm in there, and then he's very reluctant to go back down, that I'm in a cross-ashi position, a back step.
Yeah.
And so, I'll just take that.
That works. I think Austin and I keep it going. Yeah, a few of us realized that you can turn a 4-minute round into an 8-minute round by just doing 2 of them and not trying to kill each other for 4 minutes.
How did I take Caleb down on that one? Was that the single
He
leg?
probably sat. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, single leg, running the pipe. Dude, I love watching Jason and Cole. Oh, this is Duncan, my bad. Still though? Oh, no, wait. Is it?
I don't know, man. Yeah.
No, that is Duncan, yeah.
That is Duncan.
Still, I love watching Jason and Cole grapple. They had some killer matches on the Sunday Open mat.
I'm glad to see Jason back.
Yeah. So I think this is where... So yeah, this is where Austin and I start attacking each other's legs. I think. No, not what I was looking for. Caleb's trying so hard to keep you down.
Dude, I did not want to get down and get past. Like, that was... I was trying so hard to stand back up and not get in... like, if I was going to go down, I was going to go down into a guard.
Yeah.
I didn't want my back taken. I didn't want... Like, I wanted none of that noise.
He's doing good to counter, or at least, you know, to attempt to, like that little roll he did.
Yep. Yeah, so then I think the rest of the round is me retaining my guard and beating the ever-loving hell out of his head.
Yeah.
To try and keep it on the side that I want it. So for anyone who's in the chat, right? Like, so what Caleb's doing to me right now, he's got fully locked hands. He's got long ass arms, you know, especially relative to me and my body size. So he's got fully locked arms, and he's laying down a bunch of pressure down on my belly and chest, with his head. And for him, so this is body lock passing, right? This isn't. He's transitioning between what's called body lock passing and tight waist passing. Okay, and so when he gets into these body locks, or tight waist for that matter, the side of his head, or the side that his head is on, has to be on the opposite side of his body. Just like we talk about with guillotines and safety, safety with guillotines, the same thing with remains with passing. So when you'll see that he starts setting up his pass, he's starting to set up on the left-hand side of my body. I'm trying to push his head to the right side, which is where his legs are. If I can get his head and his body on the same side of my body, then I have a chance of actually heisting my hips up and getting out. If I allow him to get crossbody on me, I'm pinned and I'm helpless under, a tremendous amount of pressure, and he's likely to get the pass.
I'll take it back a bit to Cole and Duncan here. So we've seen Cole doing a lot of work from mount, working double unders here. He's got Duncan's arms in a good spot, but Duncan's doing well to try to resist, get his elbows down. Cole uses this as an opportunity to take the back. So he hits that gift wrap, slides the knee up nice and high where we like to see it behind Duncan's head. He's already got a hook in, right, with his left leg here. Pulls him up into the lap, sits to his butt, falls to his left. And now he can start attacking the back. Solid transition from working mount. I mean, obviously, his the plan he seemed to be working on for that exchange wasn't going right, so he transitioned to an even more powerful place to be. So now he's got to win the hand fight battle. He's doing a good job following up here. Oh, this sucks for Duncan. He's flattened out now. Yeah, looks like Cole got that one. Solid. Looks like Andrew's getting a lesson here in what not to do from close guard, which in a word or a couple words is attack submissions.
Yeah.
Just try to break the guard open.
This body lock and tight waist passing from freaking Caleb, it's miserable. Like, I can feel it.
It's exhausting.
2 days later, 3 days later, however many days later. You and Jason.
Yeah, I think everybody was getting a little worn out, taking a rest around here. I forgot how this exchange went. I think I tried to hit a little arm throw there.
Right. Yeah, he capitalized right on it. He just sank right down.
Yeah.
It was good.
I think he was getting mad here because I was talking. He's like, I don't feel good about the fact that you could have a conversation while I'm trying to beat you up. Yeah, Jason will. It's like riding a bike for him, man. He gets worried. He comes back and he's like, oh man, cardio is probably bad and I don't remember anything. And then he just like mauls like he has in the past. Yeah. Or if he's not getting the best of the round, he sure as shit is not getting subbed. Like, I think all of us have agreed that his upper body defense at least is
crazy
tight. Yeah, and kind of in the vein of what we were talking about with, or what you were talking about with the body lock passing, even here, you could see me at various times putting a lot of pressure on Jason's head, making it difficult for him to establish a side to pass to, really preventing any forward progress up the body. But also, if he goes to my right, his head goes to my right. If he goes to my left, I push his head to the left, like you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll see. I saw it twice already. Right whenever he's going, wherever your knees are is kind of where you're pointing his head. Right, you're trying to point his head towards your knees because he's likely to try and step around behind your knees.
Yeah. Yeah, and right there's with the round coming to an end. I found myself in that same like side body lock position. He did a great job here of like shelving my right shin across both of his legs, which
Yep.
normally is like we're talking end game of a body lock pass. There he about steps over my knee. I'm like, you know what? Let me just try to pressure his head to the mat and bridge with everything I have, see if I can get him over. Jason's, much bigger than me, and I managed to elevate him and drive through on that. But I can't say I've ever done that. I can't say I would even recommend doing it because it took a fair bit of energy. Man, for Danny and Caleb, like those moments, I mean, the footage is sped up right now too. This just seems like a long time to me to be like pushing into somebody. When you feel your opponent doing that, try to take advantage of it as quickly as you can. Remember, they're pushing into you, so pull them, get them off balance. Every single takedown you think you want to do starts with off balancing. So while you're sitting there thinking about like how you're gonna react to that, just practice Kazushi, practice getting him off balance, and that's it. You don't even necessarily have to think about the takedown. Just make the act of off balancing your opponent a bit more automatic. I don't think we have any. I didn't record any gi footage from yesterday, but I know one technique for that Bertram likes to do is just like double lapel grip, two hands, one lapel, just ripping people down. Yep. And like getting them moving, and it's effective, man. When you get people stepping, that's where you get people tripping and being thrown and all that. We're gonna watch you just destroy my knees for like 4 minutes or 8 minutes. I think we did 2 rounds.
We just kept falling into those positions.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to see that one more time. It was like, sweet, past your guard. You're like, nah.
It was off a false reap.
Yeah, shit, it was. Then you inverted.
So this is a dumb little detail that I've just started to use, I think, more effectively. I've had some success on it, but like when I get into that false reap, look at my left hand. So watch how my left hand comes in. So my right hand is going to come in and it's going to snag your far knee, right? But my left hand is actually coming up and getting into an armpit frame here. And the reason it's doing that is because of exactly what you ran into with rush, right? Is that you've got, when people come in and cross-face you from here and they sit nice and heavy, you can't do anything, you can't invert. Well, if I get this frame in with my left hand, I can pummel your bicep over top of my head and roll through for the inversion. So as stupid as that hand is coming in front of the bicep or inside of the armpit, I think that's what actually got the inversion here.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I, at the time, never would have even noticed that. Yeah, the cross shoulder post, I know, at least when I was starting to really get more comfortable with leg locking, we talk about how important angles are on takedowns, like flanking people, getting around guard. Angles are just as important in leg locks, and a huge tool in that toolkit for cutting that angle is that cross shoulder post, which I admittedly don't utilize to its greatest potential. But that was a really good example of it.
I'm still figuring it out, right? Like picking little things up here and there from the Gordon and Danaher DVDs. You know, when Tom came to visit us, he was talking about basically framing against the bicep on the far side, right? Like that just seems to be popping up more and more frequently. I'm like, you know, I'm ignoring this, and I don't need to be ignoring this anymore. Like,
Right.
I'm not doing it intentionally. It's something that's
Just forgetfulness.
forgetful. Yeah.
I have yet to see Caleb try that north-south strangle.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I feel like I know why, and it's just that he just learned it a week ago, so it's not even in his like in the front of his mind.
I think he's having so much fun smashing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't blame him.
he's gonna let that ride out.
Yeah. Dude, I thought about this exchange with you more than I care to admit. I was so pissed I didn't get anything with this. And like I think I just got overzealous on the like the position and just like didn't focus on improving it the way I should have improved it. And like I guess what I mean by that is, you know, right here, keeping your arm above your head, but also like working to sit up, like actually scooting my hips out from underneath you and more towards the back of your head than under your neck and shoulders, to really drive your chin into the chest. I was so focused on my right leg getting across the neck. You snuck your hand in and you were blocking it. I don't think that should have stopped me, at least from getting to a more powerful position to where I could have, you know, maybe more fruitfully attacked your arm, you know. But here I'm just like, I'm supine. I'm not as powerful as I think I could have been had I taken the time to like improve that.
I was in trouble. I'm not gonna lie. Like I
Caleb.
was not comfortable
Yeah.
by any stretch. I did have my hand in a decent position, but it was just a compromising position.
Yeah, it's like getting your hand into a gi strangle or something, you know.
Yeah, right. Like it's only biding time.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything more.
Let's watch Caleb. Just
Damn.
throwing people.
Well,
Man, Caleb needs to learn the anaconda from there.
totally. And I think in the next spot, the next role that I have with Caleb, you'll see me hesitate on that one and hit a go and try and go for a go behind instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would do very well with the anaconda. The length of his arms and just the size would be.
And also, how many times we've seen him throw people like that, like get to that inverted north-south position, or not inverted north-south, but you know what I mean.
I do. Oh yeah, I had to reset my clock.
Oh yes, skip ahead. Keep driving to the next submission here. Oh, there's some cool exchanges. Never mind.
I tried. I don't think I could take. I didn't take your back fully. I didn't get both hooks in. I think I got same thing with. I had the same problem with you and Rush. I was not able to get both hooks in from here, and yeah, so I went into a crossbody ride instead. And we go into a leg exchange.
It's the second time that happened with us.
Yep. Yeah, the other time was behind the pillar, I think.
It was barely visible, yeah. Yeah, so you had already spun out of this leg entanglement. But like this is what you and I were talking about after class. Like your knee is already pointing away from me. And my hips are like pointing in the opposite direction. So that would have been I would have had to get my hips up instead of, frantically trying to crank on your ankle here like an idiot.
So people who are scared of leg locks or whatnot in this exchange, are I mean in the chat or whoever's going to watch this in the future, right? There are a few things that I'm taking note of when Jameson has my leg like this, right? It looks brutal. It doesn't feel great, right? Like I'm not saying that this is the most comfortable position by any means, but there are certain things that I'm looking for to see if I'm in trouble or not. The first thing is that that I'm in trouble because he has this triangle around my legs, right? What we call the inside senkaku, or the cross ashi position, right? He's got his legs triangled around the attacked leg. Now, one thing that I have, or two things that I have in my favor here in this position. For one, my knee is pointing the way that I want it to be, which is right alongside his head, right? So his head is pointing to our left watching this, and my knee is pointing directly left of this, which means that my heel is behind him, and it's going to be very difficult for him to start exposing my heel. So already in there, I know that he doesn't have my heel, and I know that it's going to be very difficult for him to start digging for my heel. The second thing that I have in the bank here is that my left leg is free. Okay? What this does is this gives me full mobility of my hips. So that means that I can actually start building up hip height here, and start framing on the leg. So I can start framing on the leg that's over top of my right leg. So it's his left leg is over top of my right leg, and I can start pushing and framing on that. I can start building up to a knee and clearing my knee line, and that's why I feel comfortable and safe in this position, even though it's not a good position for you to be in. So you'll see me coming up, framing. I wind up back stepping here, but my knee line is clear at this point. He goes ahead and he gets my knee line back. I'm still pointing in the exact same direction, and my left leg is still free, so then I can continue the escape right over again.
We get it, man. I suck at leg locks.
No.
Yeah, I was definitely too excited to try to attack that. I didn't really have any good control.
But I mean, I think one of the big things that we've seen in the past few weeks of reviewing footage is that our team is comfortable with leg exchanges. I think this just kind of further exemplifies, like, we're all very comfortable in these really bad spots, right? We get caught, and stuff, but it's not unfamiliar to us.
Yeah. One more time.
Another one.
You definitely, pretty sure you finished that one. Maybe not. I guess I got saved.
I don't think I did. That one was deep too, because that was the reverse rear naked choke, bro.
Yeah.
This you and Austin again?
Yeah.
Jason gets to mess me up now. I can't remember who got the takedown. I was really trying to take him down.
He's tough, man.
So tough.
I think the only real takedowns I get on him are when I get my sneaky little foot sweeps in. But I refuse to shoot on him. Oh yeah, so this is the exchange between Austin and I. Let's check this out. I'll never hit a Tomonagi ever. So
oh damn, he hit a backstep.
He did. Look at it in regular speed. So I had my De La Hiva hook in. He said, I don't care about your De La Hiva. He got down past my knee. Really, really solid. I would try to, yeah, okay, good. Set up the triangle. And now, I mean, look at what he's doing. He's immediately digging on my far leg with his right arm here to try to unlock or prevent any good triangle that I can set up to like keep my leg safe.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna put my insert my other foot, my secondary leg, just make this as difficult as I can on him. I genuinely really wanted to see like if he could get this, heel hook, because I knew he was digging for it. So I didn't counter too much. He also, I mean, he was doing a great job here hiding his legs. But I'm like, let's see how long I can make him, dig on this leg. And he finally, right there, like, really, really solid finishing position. Ideally, he wouldn't have rolled, right? Like, once he got there and established his grip, I'd really like to see his knees continue pointing in this direction again, in like an ideal case. When you roll this way, that's where knee slipping comes in. I'm may be able to slip the heel. I should be posting on the knee, trying to get my knee free, whatever. But I can, I could continue to turn. I could pull this leg up and get it behind his butt and try to like running man escape. But whatever. He got a really solid grip on me here. And I'm like, all right, calling it. That was a great exchange.
Yeah,
or great digging on his part.
Yeah, that was definitely a really, I really like how he had it in the anatomical snuff box, right, rather than in the elbow pit.
Yep.
That was a real. I when I was watching this earlier today, that's what I was like. Freaking awesome! Like I love that. It's not somebody going in old school style and trying to catch it right into the elbow. That was a nice solid heel hook.
Yeah. Yeah, and like guys like Craig Jones have built much of their game on really, really solid triangle attacks, really, really solid leg attacks, and combining the two of them. And
it's deadly.
What was that?
It's deadly. It's a deadly combination. Yes.
Yeah. So as Austin progresses, that that might be something we start seeing him doing a lot more of, using the two. It's a great path between upper body and lower body submissions.
Yeah.
Cole was like, "Oh, knee bar him, dude," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." Doing my best to keep his knees pointing away from me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't know if you were gonna try and do that or take his back. That was a nice mount.
I don't recall why I took mount, like what made me choose that over taking the back. May have been where his other arm was.
We really have to start learning that like not every match has to be a death match. I think it will save my old ass in the long run. But
I found my method. It's having 8-minute rounds instead of 2 4-minute rounds. And also not waiting until the last round to roll with Caleb.
I thought I was gonna finish this. I didn't know if he knew what I had. I had a calf slicer on the backside. He was doing a good job of basing it, like trying to post out and everything. But I think Danny was coaching him through that.
So I was giving Andrew some tips earlier in the evening before I set him off on um, onto rolls with some of the other higher belts. And one thing I'm just going to point it out now. One thing I mentioned to him earlier was his stance. Right? He was like, what big mistakes am I making right off the bat? And I'm like, well, let's talk about your stance. Try to get right past Austin here. So there's his back foot, there's his front foot. Hard to tell from this video and from this angle, but he's taking a really wide, spread out stance here. And I explained to him all the reasons why that could be used against him. And it's like, all right, let's see what you learned. Let's see what you remembered. And right here, I immediately just block his foot, take his head back, and hit him with the foot sweep just because of that wide stance. All right, and just quick reminder of what the deal was. And then, demonstrated earlier, like single legs and how he's leaving him open when he's that wide out. But so you can see a little bit better here, right? He's still like defaulting to this wide stance. That's, if he continues to train, that's definitely something we're going to tighten up.
Yeah, I mean, you literally were able to reach down and grab his leg for the single at that point, right? So
yeah,
definitely needs to get tightened up.
And pick. I just love this whole exchange. So working from like this X guard. I mean, this is perfect though. Like this is exactly how you want to do it. Like because all this, everything you've done so far, like it doesn't always work first time, as evidenced by this. So you have to continue on through and transition, and you took it all the way through a few different methods until you got the ankle pick.
Yep.
Even Caleb knows. He's laughing.
We were rolling, man. It was like, I had no idea because I was like, it's got to be slippery, and then I'm like looking at the mats, and the mats weren't slippery here. So
you gotta spit on the mats.
Yeah.
Right where you're stepping. Quick little kick out. So here I start taking Andrew through how to finish a rear naked strangle.
Yes. Caleb came up and went for that single, and here's where I was second guessing the anaconda. So watch what I do here. I'm coming up. I'm gonna switch my grip there. Man, I have an anaconda set up, ready to go. I'm like, I'm not gonna do. Last time I did that, I got crushed. So I'm thinking about how I'm gonna hit a go behind and not get rolled at the same time.
Let's see, do you hit the knee go behind? Oh.
I'm trying, but he drives. As soon as I let go, he pulled a Luke, and like as soon as I let go, he starts driving. So I'm doing my best to block his hips and sprawl back.
Yeah. He wants it.
He does. He's not going to get it though. So here's an interesting thing too that I don't see a lot of people doing. Like I know, I mean, we always do and you're very effective with the knee, like the knee going into the hip. And for some reason on Caleb, I have had a hell of a time trying to take his back. So I'm like doing some classic old school jiu-jitsu tactics here. I'm grabbing a tight waist on him. I'm blocking with my far side knee. Okay, so like my right knee in this case, I'm blocking his knee, and I'm pulling him into me and shuffling back.
Yep.
Just see if I can open up the legs, right? Don't get it the first time. I mean, a lot of this is based off of patience and whatnot, but I'd go back and I'm going to do it again, right? Like I see that he's doing this. You can see by his right arm being based out or like, posted fairly close, that he has to open it up. And when he does that, he gives a like it's a hole in between his elbow and his knee. So when I see this, then I can always shoot my leg in and get a hook. And I don't know if I get it on this one or not. Nope. So then I got to go back and do it again.
There it is.
There it is. And he didn't want me to take his back, so I got top position instead. So I get the pass, right? Or I'm sorry, I get the takedown or the pin, but I don't get the back control. And then round it.
Almost an amount, yeah. Right on. Good stuff,
man. It was a good night.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, guys. We appreciate all the messages. I probably should have changed that. Our weak position. Not that it matters now. Doesn't matter. Could switch to a guillotine from that anaconda setup. Seems like it's right there.
Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're 100% right. When I'm here now, there's not a problem, but there's a complexity with it, which is like, in order for me to get to this anaconda, what I've had to do is I've had to get my right hand all the way through to his right armpit in order for me to make the anaconda grip. So for me to get to the to a guillotine, I'd have to pull my hand all the way back into the basically right up underneath into a chin strap in order for me to start sinking in a decent guillotine. I did try to pull him in. I didn't feel like I had the strangle. We can go over it in class maybe tomorrow, Joe, if you're there, and I can walk you through why it's there's a little bit of complexity there, switching from the anaconda back to the guillotine.
Yeah, especially if you want the regular guillotine, not the arm-in guillotine.
Exactly. Yes.
Which I know I prefer. Cool. Anyway, yeah, we will put this up on YouTube. Thanks again, Deathcore, for the subscription. If you guys are and Low Tier Warrior, thank you for following. We're we're getting right up to, we got 95 followers now, so it's pretty sweet. And
really appreciate it.
Eldenob, thank you for the follow as well. Yeah, 5 more, we're hitting 100, so that's really sweet. We appreciate the support, you guys. As always, you can ask anything here that you see. Ask us questions here. For our students, bring anything you saw here up to us at class. We can go over it further. What else?
This weekend, I don't know about classes and stuff. Do you know anything about classes? I mean, because we'll be in Vegas for ADCC.
So as I understand it, Danny will be taking over Saturday class. He'll be running the fundamentals in the open mat. I think it's his first class that he's doing. So
please give him as much shit as you possibly can.
Yeah, be as disrespectful. Talk
Totally.
when he's talking. Definitely try to talk over him. Make fun of his accent. All the stuff you do to us.
Challenge everything. Yes.
Yeah, just so he is more respectful to us.
What if they try and punch you in the face type of question?
Yeah. Continuously ask him, well, what do you do if they do this? Coaches really love that when you interrupt class and ask the whole tree of possibilities of what to do in moves. Instead of drilling, talk a lot. Love talking. Talking is just keep talking all the time.
Did this work in the streets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, be nice to Danny. And I believe Ronnie will be running Mondays if we're not back in time.
Sick. Awesome.
So, yeah. Enjoy that, guys. Get to class tomorrow. We will see you guys there. And be sure, if you can, watch ADCC this weekend. It's bound to be amazing. So there's going to be some really good matches, and I'm sure you'll hear us talking all about it and breaking down stuff we learned from it as well when we get back. So trim your nails and do your laundry and don't be stinky. And we'll see you guys on the mats.
Later, everybody.
See ya.